everyone, I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks.
Hey. Well, how's everyone doing?
Great.
So good. I have some things that go along the lines of the book that we are summarizing today.
Ooh,
Okay.
let's hear it.
Okay, so I bought a journal.
Okay. Oh, have you been journaling your feelings?
No, God, no.
God, no.
God, no.
I've never.
Lock them deep down.
It's the only way to do it.
It's a passing journal, so it's between me and my oldest.
That's cute.
And it has prompts in it. So I'll read the prompt, write her the note. She'll get it. She'll read my notes. And then she has a prompt that she answers and we pass it back and forth. So it's
cute.
already pre-prompt.
Yeah, I like it.
It's pre-prompt.
Also, my oldest found this unused journal, just a blank journal. And she was like, can I have this? And I was like, yeah, sure. She was like, I have all these thoughts when I'm at school and then I forget them and I don't write them down. And I'm like, by all means,
Yeah.
journal your thoughts, child.
Yes.
So then she was coming back a little later and she was like, can I cuss in this journal? And I was like, I don't know why you would need to, but sure. And she was like, it's just going to be for you and daddy and me to read. Like, just my thoughts. And I'm like, okay. So the first page of her journal is like, this journal is specifically for my mom, dad, and me as I write my thoughts from school. And sometimes I might cuss a little, but I already told you it's not for you. So be warned. And then I was reading some of the entries. And one of them was like, cafeteria thoughts.
Cafeteria thoughts.
And she was like, I don't eat, because she refuses to eat in the cafeteria, has to bring her food every day. So she's like, I'm walking through the cafeteria to get to the outside seats, and I see the kids that are eating in here. And I think, I've seen cockroaches in this cafeteria. If I was one of these kids and I saw one walking on the ground, I would think, ew, that's a shitty cockroach. That was the end of the thought.
Oh my God.
She's not wrong.
So kids are the best. Oh my God.
She has just a few of them, but they're hilarious.
These are amazing.
My kid for sure shares his thoughts openly with me, but I want him to journal and be okay with me reading it, because if she didn't want you to read it, would you read it?
No, unless I had a reason to.
Okay. I don't know what my feelings are about it either. Obviously, he's so little, I feel like, yeah, I'm going to keep watching him. But at what point do you go, okay, you're old enough now, maybe I don't have to? I don't know if there's ever that point.
I don't know.
Or if there's ever a point where he's like, I don't want you to look at this.
Then you question why.
Yeah.
Why don't you want me to look at that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I was just curious. If she
I'm
was
not
like,
a good
"These are
judge
my
of this.
private
Your
thoughts,
children are
Mom."
older than mine.
No, she doesn't. Like that journal is just for the three of us.
Yeah. So there hasn't been an instance.
Yeah, because I think back at like when I had a journal, I didn't want my parents to read it. And it wasn't necessarily that I was putting bad things in there, but I would put like my thoughts about my parents.
Yeah.
Like I got in trouble, so I'd put my thoughts like, I'm so
Yes.
mad because they don't understand, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I wouldn't want them to see that, not
Right.
because it was bad for them to see it, but it was like my place to
Yes.
vent.
Yeah.
About my parents. At the time, I mean, I was like going back and forth between my parents' houses. So I had like thoughts about that.
Yeah.
And those experiences, and it wasn't bad things. It was just how I was feeling about
Yeah.
whatever happened that weekend.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, I don't want you guys to read these things because this is just my own personal thoughts.
Just
Yeah.
for me to process.
Yes, to process. So from that perspective, I would have been like, okay, maybe I would let my kid have a thing that I didn't read. But
But if something happened and you're like, okay, well, you're lying about this, like,
Yeah.
I need to see what's in that book.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then maybe, but I don't know. It's hard because
Yeah.
I'd be on both ends.
Yeah.
I'd have to navigate it, I guess, when the
Yeah.
time comes because I have
That's
no
how I
idea.
feel. It's like some of this is just, I'm going to wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of motherhood,
Most of
honestly.
parenting
winging
is
it.
winging it.
Yep.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I don't
None of
either.
us do.
I love it.
man.
You know what? Your oldest, she cracks me up on a regular. I wish I was a fly on the wall just on a regular basis because she would kill me.
Oh, wait. Okay.
She
So the other day
does.
we were on the phone. I can hear her talking to Rachel. She's like, Mom, I swallowed all this soda. She's like, and I could feel the gas going down. And then I felt it come back up, and it was like I was throwing up gas.
And Sunny's on the other end of the phone going, she burped.
So she burped. Is that what she's telling you? I'm like, that is definitely how I'm going to refer to it from now on. Like, excuse me, I just threw up some gas.
Or like I was watching my nephew one of the nights this week for a couple hours, and he's only one. So he's like uncomfortable. It's like 9:00 at night. He wants to go to his own house.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to get him to eat. I offered him like millions of things to eat. He refused all of them, but he's cranky as hell and needs to eat.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I finally like some plain chicken, like chicken. And he was like backing up with the most disgusted face. And she leans over and she's like, is he vegan? I'm like, no. And she's like, the way you looked at that chicken, he might be vegan.
Telling you. She's hilarious. She needs her own reality show.
Unintentionally hilarious.
Like she doesn't realize how funny she is, and that's what makes it even funnier because she's so genuine about these lines.
Oh, kids, man. All right, well, let's jump into this book we're reading, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Why don't you hit us with an author summary?
Okay, Abby Jimenez is a best-selling romance author, cupcake champion, whose stories blend humor, heartbreak, and hope. Before she gave readers stories like... No, I'm still reading.
Sorry.
Before she gave readers stories like The Friend Zone and Part of Your World, Abby was already known for her sweet side. She started baking back in 2007 while pregnant with her third child, and just 2 years later opened her first Nadia Cupcakes Bakery, named after her daughter Nadia.
That's in the book. He had to go get her Nadia cake. That little sneaky lady.
In 2013, she and her team took home the top prize on season 4 of Cupcake Wars, impressing judges with a cheesecake cupcake so good it was called the best ever on the show.
Wow. So she wasn't lying.
At home, Abby shares a life with her husband, Carlos, and their 3 daughters. Her books are often set against the backdrop of her home state, Minnesota, capturing everything from messy family dynamics to mental health struggles and always balancing the real with the romantic. Whether she's baking award-winning treats or writing stories that feel like catching up with a friend over cocktails, Abby Jimenez serves up warmth, wit, and a little bit of magic in everything she does. Well, that's Abby Jimenez, guys.
Thank you.
Now hit us with a summary.
All right, this one's a short and sweet one. So yours truly, an ER doctor, Briana Ortiz, is juggling heartbreak, family worries, and burnout when she starts exchanging letters with her new colleague, Jacob Maddox. What begins as an awkward first impression turns into unexpected, tender friendship, and maybe something a little bit more. With humor, honesty, and a real-life struggles at its core, this is a story about finding love when you least expect it and the courage it takes to truly open your heart.
We're going to get into the cocktail that we have paired for this, and then afterwards, there will be spoilers.
We will chump it up.
I like them chumpy. All right, so for this cocktail, we're calling it Lavender Love Letters. It is 2 ounces of Empress Gin, a half an ounce lavender simple syrup, a half an ounce fresh lemon juice, 2 dashes of orange bitters, and then topped with a chilled Prosecco. And it was really cool to make because it did change colors when we dropped that lemon juice in it. So cheers.
Cheers. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like a Prosecco, and
I do like Prosecco in all the drinks.
Rox is questioning it.
Yeah, the lavender is really like hitting me with a note that I wasn't expecting.
I would drink 2 of these. This is good.
It is very light. I like the herbaliness of the lavender and the Empress Gin.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of like those citrus notes.
It's fresh and light. And
Yeah, it
I
is
like
nice.
the lavender with the citrus.
Yum.
You know what? I think it's like a different flavor than any of the other ones we've had.
Which is funny because we've done citrus, we've done lavender, we've done Prosecco topped,
Yeah, but we've never done them together.
and it's definitely one that I like.
I like it a lot.
Honestly, actually, I don't think we've done a lot of orange, and this one has orange bitters in it, and I do think it
do like
adds.
it.
I like it. All right, let's get into these chumpies. The first chumpy is going to be chapters 1 through 10. I will say this is possibly going to be one of those books that I need to let settle, but we could talk more about that at the end, I guess.
Okay.
So the book opens from Briana's perspective. We do get to hear from Briana and from Jacob. Briana, she hears gossip about the new ER doctor. She hasn't seen him yet. His name is Jacob Maddox, but they nickname him Dr. Death because he's only had 6 patients and all of them have died under his care, and it's only his first day. There's a male nurse, and I think I would want to hear more from his perspective because he seems like a good time. He
does.
seems like a hoot, but he like walks out of one of the offices while they're talking. Like Brianna's telling her, you can't call him Dr. Death. Don't put that on him. And then the guy nurse walks out and he's like, 7. It's like, Dr. Death.
And they were like, I don't know, your first day and you're killing everyone?
Yeah, she defends him, saying that all of them were already critically ill. Like, none of them were surprising. So Brianna's best friend, her name is Alexis, texts her about visiting on the day of Brianna's divorce finalization. But her best friend is super duper pregnant. So she's like, don't come out here all 9 months pregnant. What a
I'm not
distraction.
delivering your child.
What a distraction that would be, huh?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember how today was the day. Briana expects to be named head of the ER, but Dr. Gibson, who is currently the head of the ER, he's retiring, but he decides to delay his retirement because he just hired this new guy, Jacob, and he wants to give Jacob a fair shot at the position, which is shitty.
I was so pissed. I highlighted it.
Oh, yeah?
Because he was like, there's no glory in just getting the job by default. And she replied back, it wouldn't be by default. It would be on merit, 10 years of merit. And I was like, yes, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Speak up for yourself, Briana.
Good for her. Yes. I agree with her. And Alexis even makes a comment like, yes, but he's kind of doing you a favor. You have your whole summer. You don't have to deal with
because she would
hours.
She would have had to work a gazillion hours and really been available to the team. And
but still, the way he did it was such horseshit.
Yeah, it was shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then now we hear from Jacob. Jacob meets his ex-girlfriend. This is wild too. So Jacob pulls up to a restaurant. He's about to walk in to meet his ex-girlfriend Amy and his brother Jeremiah. He's expecting to get the news that they're engaged. He's like prepared for it. And you start to see a little bit of his anxiety because he talks about how walking into this very noisy restaurant is going to cause him to have some
And he's not
panic
familiar
attacks.
with it. So it's not a safe space for him. He doesn't know what he's walking into.
Yes. And he kind of mentions like this was his relationship with Amy is Amy would be like, oh, but I know you love the wings here. Not thinking about all the issues he's going to have coming to a place like this. The way I imagined it was like a Dave and Buster's, right? Like there's a lot of noise.
It was an
games.
axe throwing place.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
So I was like,
yeah. So
there's
it's
going to be like people cheering, like lots of drunk
chaos.
yelling. Yeah, it's going to be
happening. And there's, And so he's already kind of preparing himself to have some anxiety when he goes in there. On top of it, the woman he loved is going to tell him she's engaged to his brother. Anyway, so once he gets the news, he's kind of like, okay, I'm feeling a little anxious here, so I'm going to go ahead and walk out. It's not the news I got. It's because of the surrounding. It's a little loud for me. I'm going to go ahead and take off.
And he actually is very gracious about it. He's like, congratulations. Like, I'm so happy for you guys.
I can't wait to be a part of the wedding.
And I thought this man has some real, I was going to say balls, but I don't think that's really it. Yeah, no.
He's got some real ovaries on him.
Something. Because he was such a bigger person in this, and I don't know that I would have been able to do the same.
Yeah. To me, it read almost a little like he just wasn't confident in himself, right? He was
That was
lacking
part of it.
confidence.
A little insecure.
And almost like he knew she wasn't right for him.
Yes.
Because of her ignoring his anxiety and all of the things and not paying attention to the person that he was. So it was almost like a relief that because he's very kind. So it was like, we broke up, but like, I'm glad she found somebody to be with.
But it's not a surprise they didn't work out, because in a normal relationship, you would be thoughtful about your significant other and what triggers them, what doesn't trigger them, and you would be more caring in those moments where she just gave two shits.
She's like, I want to go to an axe throwing place. Why don't you want to go with me?
Exactly.
Right? And it was like,
yes.
There's
Or
more
what
give and
can we
take
do?
in a real relationship.
Yes.
A functioning relationship.
Right.
It
What
was
can
just
we
definitely
do?
from the very beginning, it was a bad relationship.
And you could feel
you
it based on the way he explained it.
While he's back at work, he's like hiding in a supply closet. He gets a call from his sister.
All of the girls and him and his mom, they're all in like a group chat together. And the group chat is just blowing up.
Yeah, like, this is bullshit. We're not going. We're going to boycott it. So they call him and they're like, we're going to boycott this. And then another voice chimes in like, yeah, this is bullshit. And then another
He's
voice
on like a
chimes in.
conference call with his sister.
Oh, because one of the sisters has a wife and she's jumping in too.
Yes. And then even like another sister's husband is jumping in. The dad starts chiming in.
And
He's
you know what?
Solidarity.
I thought it was so cute.
But like the dad's in the background just like, tell him you're in this with them. You're like, all right.
He's like, okay, yeah, me too.
What a sweet dynamic, though, because I don't know that I have ever been on a conference call with my family.
I have, but it wasn't like that.
I wrote this family is hilarious, but hot damn is it too much.
Yes.
Especially for someone who potentially gets overwhelmed easily.
Yeah.
And so I could see, like, this is probably where a lot of it stemmed.
Yes.
And then you even get a little glimpse of the mom who's like, Jacob, you've always been the political one, and I love you for that. But you need to stick up for yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Now's the time.
Yes.
Although I have to think if this happened, I don't know if it would happen to me, but if it happened, like if it was my brother who was Jacob, and then my other brother was the brother engaged to the ex-girlfriend, right? I would probably been like, all right, Jacob, you tell me what you want me to do and I'll
Yeah.
do it. You
Which
want me
I
to
think
hate
is-
her? I'm gonna hate her.
Which I think is what is happening here.
Yeah,
They're all
I would
like,
do
we're
that.
not gonna go.
Yes.
And Jacob is like, go to the wedding.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't have to boycott it. So he ends up lying to them, telling them that he has a girlfriend. It's fine. I have a girlfriend.
I've moved on.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
moved on. You guys should too. It's fine. I'll be at the
And
wedding.
it's so crazy how the phone call flips like, you do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
When do
they're
we
even
meet
like,
her?
He
Yeah.
hasn't had sex since then. The mom's like, you don't know if he's been sexually active. If you're sexually active, Jacob, please make sure you're using a condom. Like, it's like, oh my God. Just
That is
please
enough.
stop.
Thank you, family.
He's like, I have a girlfriend.
It's still new. I'm not bringing her around, you crazy people.
Yes,
And then they're
yes.
like, we want to meet her.
Are you coming? You're gonna bring her to our family dinner, Jacob?
Yes. That we have stopped inviting your brother to because he's dating your ex.
Although, you know what?
I actually really
don't
love
wanna-
the family that he has, even
Yes.
though he feels like it's a lot, which I can understand him.
Yes.
feeling
I was like,
that.
I kind of feel with
understand it.
him.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot. I don't know if I could handle it.
Yes.
But it would be great to have somebody that you could like call on or who's
Sure.
ready to jump in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are. They all have his back, which poor other brother, like clearly who's a favorite. But also you kind of
Right.
did him dirty.
You did do him dirty. But also, someone who has realized I have a little more anxiety as I got older, I feel for him because I understand it.
There were so many
my
parts in
God.
this book.
The
that I
anxiety.
was like, yep. I
Yeah.
get it.
I know I have anxiety, but I didn't realize how many things were tied to my anxiety that I do.
Yeah.
Like the whole knowing where to park thing. That's why I go early to places to make sure I can park in
Yeah,
certain. I
for sure.
didn't fucking
I
realize.
for sure research restaurants and look up what's at the food place. But I don't. When I,
don't-
think
It
about
doesn't
I
like
don't-
hinder your ability to
Yeah.
go.
I want to see what's there.
like the connection of him making it to his anxiety. I've never done that before.
I don't know if I have a similar anxiety to what he's experiencing. I don't
Not
look
as
up the
severe.
menu. I don't care about where I park because I think a part of me also has a little bit of adrenaline that like is running late and it makes me feel cool. I don't know why.
That's such a silly thing.
I know it's the stupidest thing, but it's like,
This is where I live.
yes, I live in this like constant state of panic and I don't know why because it also causes me anxiety, but I love it at the same time. I also
If he's
understand.
comfortable, he's okay.
Yes.
When he's at work, he's like, I've learned how to manage my anxiety
Manage
at
the
work.
chaos.
I know how
Yeah.
to deal with it.
Because he works in a very high stress
but he
position.
doesn't have his anxiety when he's at work. He's like, I know
Okay.
how to.
Is
go
it
auto-
because, but if you think, is it like part of the control? Like, I know how to handle
But that's
this person
exactly
in
the
cardiac
reason
arrest.
why I wanted to go back to work after having my son. It was like I felt so much chaos in trying to become a mother and not being able to live up to these crazy expectations I put on myself. But it was like also I don't know if I do this, is that the right thing? Because there's not like that.
Yeah,
in
no.
motherhood.
Yeah, no.
It's like try it and find out, and you're like, I know, I still don't know. I don't know if
If
that's
I
the right
give
thing.
them this
Because
medicine,
it
is it going to
works
make
for
them
this
better?
one, but it doesn't work for this
Yes.
one. Like, the fuck am I going to do
What am I
now?
gonna
Oh,
do
yeah.
now? And
Oh.
so the only thing I knew was I changed this diaper because there's poop in it. That's the right thing. I know
Yeah.
that's the right thing.
Yeah.
I know he needs to eat, but he's not eating. So is he hungry? I don't know. Right. And it was just like this whole, like, I know some things, but I don't
Sure.
really know. So it was the go back to work because even though it could be stressful, there was
You had
still
some
a-
sense of control.
Yes. There was still a way of, I know this is the path to take.
Yeah.
I know this is the right way. I knew what to expect for everything. But
I wonder if that's, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
but
no,
I
no.
wonder if that's a thing with people with anxiety is that they have these areas of like, there is control in this scenario. And so having some environment where there's a control helps the anxiety.
Yeah.
Right?
he's talking to his sisters. He walks out of the supply closet, and when he exits, Briana runs into him, causing like she's running past him. She runs into him. It causes him to drop his phone, and it breaks his phone. He follows her to the patient's room. He's all pissed, but when he walks in, he finds himself captivated by her. He realizes he's intruding on her and a patient that she potentially knows. Like he tries to kind of back out, and someone pushes him in because they bring in a dialysis machine, and she's telling him, oh my gosh, this was infected, whatever. She's having a definitely not a doctor-patient conversation. So when she finally notices that he's there, he awkwardly tells her not to run in the halls. It's dangerous, which causes her to kind of just go 0 to 100. She gets pissed. She has an argument with him, further damaging his standing with the staff. He walks out of that room super defeated. So then we go to Brianna's point of view. We find out that her patient is her brother, Benny, who's awaiting a kidney kidney transplant. He's on a list. Hasn't gotten any donors yet, so he's on dialysis. He's depressed, severely depressed, and he has an infected catheter. She retreats to what she calls her sob closet, only to have Jacob walk in on her. Then he leaves, and then he returns with a warm cloth and asks if she is okay.
I have to say, the supply closet was giving me Grey's Anatomy vibes.
There's a lot about this that kind of gave me some Grey's Anatomy sort of vibes.
Never seen it.
The first few seasons are really good. I haven't finished it, but it is very good. Actually, when you watch the first episode, you'll be hooked. They introduce themselves and they bond briefly. Like, they do have a little bit of a moment. And then Jacob makes a comment about her brother being on dialysis, basically saying he can live for years on dialysis. And Briana translates this as being super insensitive. Like, my brother is dying, he's on dialysis, and you're like, well, he can live forever.
Or he doesn't have the quality of life that like a young 20-year-old would have.
And so she lights him up. She just lays into him. Briana accuses him of being insensitive and mentions that she is not okay with him trying to steal her job, to which Jacob obviously doesn't know anything about. So we go to Jacob's point of view. He reconnects with one of the doctors who is Benny's doctor. His name is Xander, a nephrologist and old roommate of Jacob's. They've known each other since college. They go for drinks with Dr. Gibson. Jacob confronts Gibson about the job competition, mentioning that Briana mentioned something about it. And Gibson basically tells him, oh yeah, I did say something about that. But Jacob's like, respectfully, I don't want it.
Even Dr. Gibson, but there's no way. Like, all of the nurses adore her. This is her building and her department.
I wish he would have said that to Briana.
Yes.
Because he's like, I'm giving him an opportunity. But really what it is like, I want you to have a standing with the doctors that you won this thing. It wasn't just handed to you, because you deserve that respect. You do deserve this spot. This should be your spot. Mm-hmm. But if you run unopposed and there's nobody opposing you, there are going to be people in this field who disrespect you because of it, who lack respect for you.
And he wasn't ready to retire because he's like, I don't know if I want to spend all day long with my wife.
He's like, I'm a little bit nervous, which is interesting because they do mention that Alexis got the job. Dr. Gibson had retired. And then Alexis moves away with this new love of her life and starts her own practice. And Dr. Gibson comes out of retirement. So like, you've already experienced that, Dr. Gibson.
Yeah. Which is why he came back.
It? Like, did you not like it? So, and that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is like nervous about spending all this time with his wife. So now Jacob kind of is, okay, I get it. Thanks, Dr. Gibson. But I have no desire to have that job. I came here because I want less of the responsibility and less anxiety in my life. Jacob reflects on past anxiety, especially in his relationship with Amy. He learns about Benny's need for a kidney and volunteers to be tested as a donor anonymously. So I do think this is a really good moment to be like, he is a golden retriever. He's about to donate a kidney. Yeah. He does talk about how his mom had his mom's best friend donate a kidney.
But he's doing it to pay it back. His mom had a kidney, needed a kidney transplant. Yes.
He has the doctor's like, oh my God, you have a universal blood type.
Yeah, I don't remember which O it is, positive or negative, but he's got the right O.
He's got the right O. Briana agrees. So anyway, so he agrees to be tested to see if a match for Benny. Back to Briana. She has to go and feed Benny's cat while he's in the hospital. And when she gets there, she finds Benny's apartment is just a mess. There's a 3-day pay or quit notice on the front door. His clothes, like, it's clear he hasn't cleaned the house. He hasn't been leaving.
He's just given up.
The depression is worse than what he's
really
let on.
Bad. Mm-hmm. Yes. And so she decides Benny needs to move in with her. And she lives in their childhood home because when she started getting this divorce, back in the day, Mom was like, Mom has found Randall and they love each other so much. And so she's left and moved to Arizona with Randall, but she kept their childhood home just in case, because you could never trust a man. And so she does have this childhood home. And so when she's getting divorced and leaves her husband, she moves out of the house with her husband. She goes into the childhood home. So she's like, Benny needs to come live with me. She declares to her coworker, Jessica, who is this cynical, hates everyone woman, that she's done with men. And Jessica's like, yeah, men suck. It's clear that we don't pick like who we're attracted to.
Because why would we love men?
Anyone pick a man? Which I kind of like Jessica. But then Jessica, who is totally cynical and hates everyone, surprises her by praising Jacob. She mentions that he's a wonderful man and she's known the family for a really long time and you should definitely give him another chance, which Brianna's like, what? It's wild. When she gets back to the hospital, she finds the nurses watching Jacob through a window. A little girl was bit by a dog and it ripped her baby doll. And Jacob is sewing the doll as a distraction while the little girl gets stitches, which is really cute.
Yeah.
Dr. Xander, he comes by and he mentions mentions, oh, I just love his bedside manner. He's always had good bedside manner. And another doctor, walks by and mentions what a great guy Jacob is. And Briana decides to help him out in that moment and tells him to bring cupcakes to charm the nurses.
But she does it
cupcakes.
But yes, and she does it like, look, just order the damn cupcakes, okay?
Yeah.
And get out of my face.
You need to get one vegan. You need to get one gluten-free. You need to get this kind. Like she tells him, like, this is what the nurses like. The fact that you didn't show up with donuts on your first day, that was a big red flag.
That was
you should
strike one.
Yes. So now to make up for it, you need to bring them cupcakes. And as she walks away, he's like, what kind of cupcake do you like? She's like, red velvet, but I don't want one from you.
She's just so angry.
Yes, she is. Now it's Jacob. He ignores calls from his mother because he's being blown up about
his girlfriend.
Is your girlfriend going to come to family dinner tonight? And
we would love to meet her.
And he's just trying to ignore it. When he's got anxiety, he journals. And instead of journaling, like he typically would do when he's feeling this way, he writes a heartfelt letter to Briana. The next day, Briana, she convinces Benny to come to her house to live with her so that she could do some home dialysis. Your sister is a doctor. Let me take care of you. Come live in this house. You won't have to come to the doctor. You'll have a more normal life. You'll even be able to eat some regular food. And he's like, are you going to have some ice cream? She's like, yes.
Because we're doing dialysis on our own and we can pick our times.
Yes.
Like you can definitely have a more normal
because you're getting
life.
it more frequently, they'll be shorter and you can have a more normal life. Like you just have to be back at home and do it for 2 hours every day. Plus she mentions like, it's either me or I'm calling mom. And he's like, I pick you. Which it doesn't sound like Brianna's mom is bad, but it's like, oh, she's overbearing. She reflects on her trust issues with men due to past betrayals.
Her
Divorced.
ex-husband took her on a fucking ride.
Yeah, for sure. And now she's trying to get back in the dating realm and she's gone on some dates and then she's like, they're horrible. You don't want what's out there. I'm not dating anyone. Just come, because that's one of his arguments. Like, I don't want to mess up your dating life. She's like, what dating life? So at work, though, she finds a custom cupcake, red velvet, and a letter from Jacob. Jacob explains the hallway incident, his almost crippling anxiety, and reveals he doesn't want her job, which causes Briana to realize she has truly been a mean girl to him and decides to write him back. And then we go to Jacob's point of view. He's nervous because he finds Brianna's letter and he's nervous to read it. And he spends all the day like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have even written her. She's probably pissed. She's probably
gonna tell me to
read
fuck
it.
off.
Yes. Like he just spirals with what it could say. So he finally decides to read the letter. And Brianna's reply is warm and apologetic. She admits to misjudging him and that it's been a dream of hers to receive a letter signed yours truly and starting it with dearest. It's very Mr. Darcy. And she can relate. She understands Jacob a little bit because Benny, her brother, has anxiety. And so she's like, I get that. I understand. I was totally a jerk to you. So Jacob rereads this letter multiple times and writes another letter back. She finds Jacob's next letter taped inside the sob closet. She writes back and leaves it on his charting computer. They continue exchanging letters and she buys nice stationery. So afterwards, she's like, he's been writing these letters on really nice stationery. And then we jump to Jacob. He is delighted that Briana bought the special paper just to write to him. And their letters grow more and more personal and playful. And they start discussing their pets and some quirky stories.
Can I say his dog's name?
Sure.
Is Lieutenant Dan because he's missing a leg.
Yeah.
Forrest! I was so excited that his name was Lieutenant Dan.
Yes, it is very cute. Which she doesn't realize, even in those chumpies, he does talk about Lieutenant Dan, but until she meets the dog, she's like, wait, you named your dog Lieutenant Dan and he's only got 3 legs? That's rich.
That's rich. Then we're going to jump into chapters 11 to 20. And in Brianna's, Jacob writes a humorous letter about losing a bet and getting a lawnmower tattooed from his sister Jewel.
Oh, yeah, so funny.
He's got this little lawnmower on his chest, I think. Mowing his chest
The
hair.
fact that he followed through on that bet, I would have been like, I am not getting a lawnmower on my chest.
So Briana asks if he has a girlfriend, claiming she's not interested romantically. Like, I just want to know because we're writing letters back and forth. And if I had a man and he was getting letters from this chick at work, I'd be like, the book.
Yeah.
That's a good question because
true.
I
It
wouldn't
is.
have thought of that.
It makes
and
her
then,
a good person, too.
yes, I don't
Like, I
want to
care about this.
make your lady mad at me.
Yeah. She's been in a situation where there was another woman.
She's had a love triangle.
Yes.
So Jacob replies he's single and avoids dating coworkers after a bad experience. They exchange several letters, then they have a few days off. They work the same ER schedule, so they're on and
Which I
off
thought was interesting.
the same days. Makes sense. Missing the connection, Briana looks Jacob up on social media and she finds him on Instagram. And then it jumps back to Jacob.
She
and-
definitely starts stalking him on socials.
Oh yeah, she's scrolling through all of his
Yeah, he
things
is.
all the way. She's like,
Yeah, she
oh,
is.
he likes
Not
to
gonna lie,
hike.
I would do that too.
She's
Same.
trying to find Amy because she
oh,
knows of
the
his
ex.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he tells her in the letter, right?
Yeah.
He's actually really vulnerable in these letters.
He is.
To
They
some-
both do.
to a
Both
stranger.
get very.
It's almost like you can be more vulnerable because you're not seeing the person face to face.
Absolutely.
okay. Welcome to social media. That's
Exactly.
why so
Keyboard
many
heroes.
people-
That's
yeah.
what it
No,
is.
well, those people are being mean,
But
whereas these people are actually being vulnerable.
Right, but I'm saying like the emotion and the physicality of it is out of it. So
I guess.
Jacob's in a remote cabin and is surprised by Brianna's friend request, and he browses her photos. He notices an old wedding photo and feels unsure. Brianna messages him, and despite anxiety and bad internet, he rushes to a restaurant
yeah.
to talk to her from the porch.
Oh yeah, I
Like he's outside, like on an outside patio
because he's
area
got his
for the
dog, so you
restaurant.
can't bring him in.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to leave.
He wants to keep chatting with her, and she's like, "Can I just call you? Is that weird that I want to talk to you?" And he's like, "No, let's talk." They talk on the phone for hours. He's sitting in the rain. They talk about their family, exes, and TikTok. Like they were telling each other stories. Then back at work, Brianna.
He's like drenching wet. So-
Yes. Brianna invites Jacob to lunch. She's like, in the sob closet. Come to lunch with me, because she knows it's going to ease his anxiety. She does a lot of things for him with his anxiety in mind.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
So while they're having lunch in the sob closet, because she's like, you know what? The cafeteria is going to be way too much for you. Let's sit here.
She makes a comment because he says she does things because they do talk about Amy, which was a quote that was actually highlighted online as well. So I think it's something that people talked about. If you're with someone who doesn't speak your language, you'll spend a lifetime having to translate your soul.
Oh.
I really like that. And that's
Yeah,
true.
it
And I
is
do
very
think
true.
that was true for the relationship between Amy and Jacob.
Yes.
It wasn't that either one of them were necessarily bad people.
No.
They just were bad for
didn't
each
speak
other.
the same language.
Yeah.
So while they're in the sob closet eating their lunch, Jules, his sister, barges in and sees them together and was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was just checking on you because you don't respond to text message." And she's like,
I know. I
"Friend?"
just pictured her like backing out going,
This is when it's like a little intrusive. You
Yeah,
guys.
like-
You're showing up at my work. I know you're just here to.
And then
find
how did
her.
you find him in the sob closet,
Yes.
Jules?
because it's like a janitor's closet. Like, why
Next
would you even
to
walk in there?
Next to Gibson's office. So next to the head of the ER department, she's like, "He's definitely in this bitch." Bah! Or she going around busting in all the closets like, "Where's my crybaby brother?"
Also, it makes me think anytime I go to the doctor, I'm just going to start checking random closets.
open? No, because
Somebody
it might
eating
be
lunch in
Grey's
here?
Anatomy and people are fucking in there. Don't go into the closets.
Oh, no.
Seriously.
Oh no.
My bad.
Jacob's overwhelmed by his family group chat gossiping about Brianna. They're like, "Oh my God, I saw his girlfriend.
She's beautiful."
She's beautiful." Xander suggests Jacob ask Brianna to fake date him for the wedding. Jacob refuses to ask, but agrees to postpone kidney donation until after the wedding. He finds out he's a donor match for Benny and asks Xander to continue to keep it anonymous. He's down to donate a kidney.
Which is beautiful.
It is. Brianna comes home and finds Alexis is waiting for her on the eve of her divorce finalization. At home, she's surprised to find Benny with a guest, Justin, his good friend. Overwhelmed by emotion, she talks with Alexis about her past. They're interrupted by Benny crying, and she's like, "Oh my God, Benny, what's wrong? What's
Yes.
wrong?" And she runs into the room, and he's been matched with a kidney donor. He got the call from his
And it
doctor.
was so much. Their conversations before leading up to this were like, he's given up. It's not going to happen. I have
Because
this
he had
rare
like a
blood type.
Yes. So Jacob, he returns to work to find the staff is celebrating Benny's donor match, and he feels good.
Everyone's excited because they know Benny. And
And they know he's Brianna's brother.
Yeah.
And he's like feeling so great. He's like, "I don't want the accolades. I don't want the attaboys. I don't want any of that. I'm so glad that it's anonymous and they don't
Yes.
know, but I'm so happy to see her happy." Then it jumps to Brianna.
Which this is some bullshit.
Oh, I know. Dr. Gibson's a motherfucker.
He's an idiot, man.
So she walks into his office and she's like, "Okay, I need some time off. Did you see my request?" Like, obviously, Benny's surgery is coming up. And he accidentally reveals that
one that I
Jacob
don't
is
have.
the donor. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad he told you guys." And she's like, "What? What do you mean he's the donor?" And she runs. She's running through the hospital. She
the
finds.
moment he tells her, I thought, what a shitty ER whatever.
He's the head of the ER department.
HIPAA
How would
is
you
like
not-
in a major violation
Derek
right
Shepard
now.
would never. So Brianna finds Jacob and she drags him into the sob closet to confront him. She jumps to
Messed up.
Jacob's point of view, and
It
Brianna.
took no time. It was like, okay, we know he has a donor, and then I thought it was going to be like this grand reveal at some point that someone
No,
was
it
going
was
to slip.
just-
But it was immediately she
Yes,
found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the donor.
She's emotional and grateful, and she's like, "I'll do anything for you. Thank you." Then he's sitting there and he's like, "I don't want to ask you this right now, but
But I do need
but
something.
I do."
Speaking of favors, can you be my girlfriend?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Jacob asked her to pretend to be his girlfriend through his brother's wedding. So all of the activities leading up
Everything.
to and then the wedding day.
Yeah.
Like, will you be my fake?
Which is a lot of activities, by the way.
So he explains the situation with his ex and his family's expectations. Like, I lied. If you don't want this, I'm just going to tell them, like, my original plan was to say, like, we broke up.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't have to do this. She asks him if he still loves Amy, and he says yes. Then it jumps to Briana. Jacob picks Briana up for the family dinner. They're driving, and he's like, look, my family is a lot. It's chaotic. She's like, okay, well, what I used to do with Benny is I make a code phrase. And if you can say that code phrase in the conversation, you earn yourself some alone time away from everyone. And I was like, this is fucking great.
I love this game.
Yes, this is fabulous.
Love it.
He also warns her about his grandfather. Like, yo, this old decrepit man is going to ask you for cigarettes.
Yes.
Do not give them to him.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, got it. Fuck grandpa.
Will not let him smoke.
So at the house, she's bombarded by Jacob's energetic family. It's like they walk in the door and I just felt like everyone was
Energy.
in their face.
And I love their energy. And
Yes.
all
They're-
of
they're-
it. It's
okay.
a lot, but it's
They are welcoming. They are like, they're trying to make her feel comfortable. Like, this is how, because my husband was talking shit to me because we have a little boy now. And I'm like, this is my baby. And he's like, are you going to mean to his girlfriends? And I'm like, no, because I don't want them to feel ostracized.
Yeah.
Like, normally when you have that kind of relationship with the future mother of your grandchildren, they're not going to be bringing those grandchildren around.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to participate in your family. And I was thinking, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want them to feel welcomed and part of the family so that all of my children will be with
I have
me.
a daughter and I don't want that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also
if
I
she's
want the
gonna
parent.
get up.
Typically, here's the thing is what I have just noticed in life. Typically, holidays and things often go to the woman.
Yes.
Right? We're going to go to the women's family's house. Not always, but it's usually...
It's more often than not that way.
I've made an effort because growing up, it was actually my dad's family we went and saw all the time. But my mom was really heartbroken about it. And so I felt like I want to make an effort to have both. But I hope that whoever my son ends up with
Makes an effort.
It doesn't mean that well, I guess it doesn't matter. He's going to end up with one of your guys' daughters. So
Yes.
we'll all be together anyways.
And then we're having giant family.
I mean, my daughter has her pick of the litter because you each have sons now.
Oh,
so-
that's true.
Does she like him older or younger?
Yeah, exactly.
Only by a year.
He'll be a very mature younger.
I mean, at this point, they'll have been together for years. So
His whole life will have only known my daughter.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
There has been some talk about who Jacob's mom is.
Oh, yeah.
Briana knows she's a physician, and that's all that's been said.
Just hit me.
They get to the house. She meets Jacob's grandfather, and then she's getting a tour, and she sees there's a taxidermy room. She's like, that's a little weird. And he's like, my dad likes to taxidermy, and she's like,
Yeah, they stop and pick up like a random dead raccoon or something off the road on their way to the house.
Oh, that's right. It's a fresh one. It also reminded me, have you ever seen online anywhere, like the people selling like the mice, the taxidermied mice, but they position them like strippers?
No.
What?
I don't know how my sister found it, but it comes on my feed now because she fucking sent it to me so many times. It shows up on my For You page. The next time I see stripper mice, taxidermied stripper mice,
I need
I'm
to see
sending
this.
it to you.
I need to see it.
Okay.
The fact that his dad was a taxidermist and there was a taxidermy room, I was like, no, this is a murderer.
Then she goes to meet his mom. She's walking around the house and he's like, this is my mother. And she's taken aback because she is a relationship expert.
Yes.
She is renowned in her
Son of a
field. And she's
biscuit.
like, oh my God.
She's
your
gonna
mom's
know.
going to know
Yeah.
that we're full of shit.
That we don't have feelings for each other. She's gonna know this relationship is not real.
I don't know enough about you. She's like, we got to study. I need to know everything about you. We need to know about each other's houses, our habits, how physically close we are. They're like, okay, but no kissing. She's like, okay. So then it jumps to Jacob, and Briana fits in so well with his family. Like, she's making jokes, and they're having a grand old time
She
there.
just seems like she fits in with most people because
Yeah,
she's just like a lively,
she's a nice girl.
just
Kind.
kind lady.
And she's very conscious of his needs and
Yeah.
being aware of that.
That's what's really, I think, the best part about all of this is Briana really shows up for him even without trying. She just recognizes, I know what my brother would need in this moment, so I'm just going to think about that.
Yeah.
They're talking about it and they're like, how did you guys meet? And she tells this romanticized version of how they met, which is rooted in truth, but she changes a little bit of it and it delights his family. They bond over personal stores.
She's good at bullshitting too.
Yeah, she is. They tell personal stories and begin.
Rox could never.
She could never. And they begin learning more about each other's backgrounds. It jumps to Briana, and Jacob drops Briana off, but she won't let him in. She's like, my house is a fucking mess. You cannot come in. So then the next day at work, they're like, okay, this has got to be real.
The ugly wallpaper, and
it's
like
just
she
old.
talks about how it hasn't changed since she was a child.
Since the 80s. They have to go and talk to HR because she's like, it's got to be real. It's got to be real to everyone in our lives because your mother
is gonna know.
Yes. They inform HR of their quote unquote relationship, and they plan dinner at her house, and Briana starts preparing her home. Sensing his needs, Briana sent him a photo of where to park at her house. So again, just being overly prepared for what he might need in that situation. Mm-hmm. And that's where we end our chumps.
We jump into chapters 21 to 30, where in Jacob's perspective, Jacob is anxious before going to Briana's house, but feels calm once he sees her. They talk about their past relationships, especially Amy's disregard for Jacob's anxiety, and then Benny walks in, prompting Briana to snuggle Jacob to keep up the dating act. After Benny leaves, they promise to be harmless to each other, like the Hippocratic Oath.
Because they're both coming from relationships after being not seen
Torn
and
apart.
hurt. So they just promise to be harmless.
So then,
That's kind of cute.
after 3 weeks of quote unquote dating, Jacob takes Briana to his home, and Briana admires his tidy house and lush plant room. Doesn't look like what you would typically think of like a bachelor pad. And he has this whole room that's full of plants, and that's
Can we
where he
talk
goes
about that
into
room for
dating.
just a hot second?
Sure, his
Do
plant
you
room.
like it or do you hate it?
I don't have a green thumb, so
Me
I don't
neither.
think I could keep it up.
Oh, no, I couldn't, but I would love it.
Yeah, that would be so great. And that's where he journals.
Yeah.
Is in his plant room.
It's like his peaceful space.
But I feel like that would be just like great for oxygen and like for oxygen. You know what I mean? Like,
for my
It's a
asthma.
great breathing room.
it would be, and that makes sense because of anxiety. But
My-
I was like, I would really enjoy that. It would
My
be very calming.
COPD would feel really great.
Your what?
My COPD would be just
The lung capacity I would have after being in that room would be exquisite.
I'd walk out high.
Go in there and snort the air. Just
lines of oxygen.
fresh.
Then he like shows her his bedroom, and that's where she starts to think about like what it would be like to sleep in that bed with him and what could happen in that bed. And she starts to realize that maybe she's a little bit of attracted to him and maybe falling for him. But before heading to Amy and Jeremiah's engagement party, they share a meaningful hug, though Briana worries he's thinking about Amy the whole time. I really struggled through this part where they were starting to have feelings for each other and they just were not communicating, and I was really irritated
So you
about
struggled
it.
for the whole book, is what you're trying to say?
Yes.
It's basically
The whole time I
whole
kept
book.
saying, just tell her what you're thinking.
Stop thinking these things.
Stop
It's-
assuming and just speak. So then it jumps to Jacob's perspective. So Briana gives Jacob a complicated code phrase, which is those motherfuckers are always up to something for the engagement party. At the party, Amy makes a snide remark about Jacob's emotional availability, and Briana declares they're madly in love and moving in together. And it's surprising Jacob because Amy's kind of being just a little like snarky about their relationship. She's making a remark about the kind of their
Amy really
relationship.
gets under Brianna's skin.
Yes, and
Because she does make comments that are like, you clearly didn't care about him.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it bothers her because
Yes.
she cares about him,
And
realizing
because
little by little.
she knows that he cares about her so much.
Yeah.
Yes. Or at least she thinks he does.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she gets kind of a little bit protective, and she's like, oh, we're madly in love. And Jacob asked me to move in. And Jacob's like, what?
He's like, we are. We're
Yes.
so happy.
And she encourages him to reveal he's Benny's donor. So he eventually shares news with his family, and Jacob uses his code phrase, and Briana sends him to the taxidermy room for a break. And Amy follows Jacob and criticizes his relationship with Briana. She basically tells him, like, I think she's using you for her brother's kidney. I don't think she really loves you. Are you sure that this is really real? And he gets really upset about it. Amy's comments make Jacob realize he never truly loved her, but he is falling for Briana. We shift to Briana's perspective, and she overhears Jacob's conversation with Amy, and she takes the conversation and flips it, thinking that he's talking about he loves Amy. And he becomes really upset because Amy is accusing him of Briana not loving him. And she totally takes that whole scenario and flips it around.
Like totally upside down and backwards.
Completely
Like
the
he's
wrong
clearly
thing.
in love with Amy still.
Because
and
she's
he's fighting
eavesdropping
with her.
and
Yes.
doesn't know.
She only hears the pieces of it, and she's completely heartbroken. She's like, oh my God, Jacob truly loves Amy. He's upset because Amy is in there confessing her love to him.
Yeah.
And
I don't want another relationship where they're pining for somebody else.
yes.
I've already been the second best choice.
Yes.
I don't want to be the second best choice again.
And because of this, she slowly starts to distance herself from Jacob emotionally. So at
She
home,
tries to.
yeah, Jacob asks her on a real date. Like after all of this, he goes to drop her off, and in his head, he's spiraling about like, how am I gonna? I just realized I love her. I want to ask her for a real date. He puts himself out there to actually ask her out on this date, and she tells him no.
Because she thinks that
He's doing it because he just realizes
He's
that he
having
loves
a
somebody
reaction.
else, and he's
Yeah.
trying to get over Amy, so he's asking me out.
yes,
And so she tells him, no,
I
this
won't
isn't
be your
it.
second choice.
I
Yeah.
won't be, and we can't do this, and this is just an agreement, and I think you're trying to use me to get over Amy, and no.
Well, she doesn't say any
No,
of this.
she just
No.
says we need to stick to the plan and not sully ourselves in an actual relationship.
And this whole time I'm like, just tell him what you really think, because this is so
Just say
stupid.
those words like, no, I don't want to be anybody's second choice.
Yeah, she's
So that
just
he
being
can go,
so
"Wait,
vague."
What? No, you're not.
Yes.
Give him a hint.
But nope,
Yes.
that's not what she does. She just says no.
So she turns him down. He loses his mind because he's like, oh man, it took so much of my energy and time to really put myself out there, and you just
Only to be
shot me
rejected.
down. Briana calls Alexis and asks to stay with her at Grant's house. Alexis comforts Briana after hearing what happened, because she like basically tells her like, hey, he asked me out on a date. Like, this isn't, he loves somebody else. I can't keep doing this. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to stick to the plan. I can't be involved emotionally. Can I just come hang out with you?
And Alexis lives in this old bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room. So she's like, can I just come stay with you for a
Yeah,
little
and
bit?
she's like, yeah, come on down. So then Jacob talks with his mom about Briana, and he's telling her like, oh, she's not into me. She doesn't love me. And
But he's saying it in a way that doesn't. He's not flat out saying like we're not really together.
but
It's
he's
like,
like
I
we
think
had
I'm
a
in this
fight.
more than she is.
Yes.
That kind of a.
Yeah, we had a fight, and she left, and I think I care for her more than she cares for me, kind of thing. She encourages him, like saying Briana clearly cares, and that Jacob needs to just show up for her. Love shows up, is
Yeah.
what she tells him. And so Jacob resolves to push past his comfort zone for Briana's sake. We jump back to Briana, and she's surprised when Jacob calls asking to come to Grant House with her.
And she's telling him no, not for her sake, but to like, you're going to be super uncomfortable. Like, are
Yeah.
you sure you want to come up here?
And so when they finally decide, like, okay, fine, you can come, she does the normal Briana thing that she does for him. She's like sends him text messages of the driveway so he knows where to park. She sends him like
Gives them tidbits about the friends
Yes.
and like what their interests are.
Alexis gives him little things for him to be prepared. He realizes in that moment that she just does things naturally, knowing that it's gonna be better for him.
Yes.
And doesn't even second guess doing it. She
And
just
he
does
doesn't have
it.
to ask.
He doesn't have to ask for it. She just does it. And it really gives him a sense of calm when he's showing up for her. Jumping to Briana, she is annoyed at how happy she feels when Jacob arrives because she's mad at him, but she's also kind of giddy. She gives him a tour and takes him to the guest room, and Jacob suggests a selfie to just get some physical contact. He really likes her, and he's trying to find every
Yes.
reason to like be close to
And
her.
they have like this deal where
Yeah.
I'll respect your boundaries unless we're around people, and then we will be like a normal couple and we'll touch each other. And
so
we'll
he
run.
decides like, oh, let's take a picture for Instagram.
Yes.
To get close to each other.
trying to find excuses to touch her.
Yes, and she secretly likes it too.
Which, really quickly, I think there's some point in here when she talks about, and I don't think we talk about it, but I think she talks to Alexis maybe about how, do you remember teleporting when you were little?
Oh yes,
yes.
so
Such a cute little
sweet.
thing. So she talks about teleporting, like you would fall asleep and you'd wake up somewhere else because you
Like
teleported.
in your bed or
but
wherever.
usually it was because your dad or someone picked you up and put you in bed. And she was
Somebody
like, I
who cares
realized.
for you.
Yeah, she hasn't teleported since she was 8, and she's come to the realization that she'll never teleport again. That's so sad. Her dad left her when she was 8, and that's the last time she was ever teleported, and she probably won't teleport again.
After they take their photo, she sort of pulls away quickly and kind of coldly, and she's assuming that he's asking to take a picture because now she just wants to make Amy jealous.
There's so many parts throughout this where you're like, it's almost you're annoyed. Like,
Yes.
that's not true.
Yes, the whole time that's
Yes.
how I felt. I was like, "Oh my god, just shut
You're
up.
being dumb.
Speak
Yes,
your mind."
yes.
So then we we jump to Jacob's perspective and they go to the VFW with Alexis and Daniel. And they joke about Jacob refusing to punch Briana for $1 billion because they're asking each other questions about like, would you do XYZ for me for $1 billion?
They're trying to get to know each other better.
Yes.
And so she asks these crazy questions.
And so the question comes up like, would you punch me for $1 billion? And he's like, no, I don't think I would do it.
Adamant. I don't care how much money you're giving me. I will not punch you.
I don't want to hurt you.
Yes. And she's like, what? For $1 billion? You wouldn't punch me? And he's like, no. And I think at one point she even says like, I would punch you for $1 billion.
For $1 billion? Heck yeah, line you up.
You just need one? All right, cool.
And so they're walking back because they end up leaving Alexis and Daniel at the restaurant. They discuss like their family and their childhood, potential baby names because they're having a whole conversation.
It was like if your pregnancy was sponsored and you had to name your child like the thing. And so they were naming these like
Xfinity was the internet company.
Yes.
Because you would get like a year subscription.
A lifetime of internet coverage. And so she's like, baby Xfinity.
Yeah, I would name my daughter Xfinity. She's like, Xfinity? You'd ruin your daughter's life? But you wouldn't punch me for $1 billion?
Yes.
He's like, absolutely, my baby girl Xfinity.
For a lifetime of internet, that is a steal.
Yes, he's like, that's a great deal.
Yes. And so
we can call her by her middle name.
Yeah. So they decide like
Comcast.
Xfinity is going to be our child. And she's like, absolutely not. Briana shares her difficult upbringing and her intent to keep her mother's surname if she remarries. So Jacob says he'd take her last name if she wanted.
I think it's cute.
Jacob's sister, Jill, calls about borrowing a bread maker, reinforcing the need for Briana to actually move in because he keeps telling her, like, you don't understand. You told my family you're moving in, and we can't lie about that because they just show up unexpectedly.
And they really do.
Briana kind of brings up to him about Amy and that conversation that they had last at the engagement party. Jacob admits they talked, but he didn't really tell her what the conversation was about.
And he doesn't say, and it meant nothing to me. It reinforced that she is not the one for me.
Yes.
Like none of the easy, not even saying like, I'm falling for you, Briana. Just all of the other things to be like, clearly this girl is asking me about Amy because she's been around.
Yeah, we spoke. I don't want to talk about it, but it did make me realize like
I
she's
don't love
not
her.
the one for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like anything.
That would have been the time.
Anything.
Of all the times, that would have been the moment to say,
big,
you know what?
fat dummy.
I've moved on and I've realized it.
dummy.
Finally make it back to Grant House and she comes up and as he's looking, she's standing there and the door slams behind her and
It's an old creaky house.
it's like a 1902 house and
They don't say what year it is, I don't think,
No.
but 1902 sounds about right.
sounds about right. The door slams behind them and she goes to try to open it and the door's stuck. And that's what ends Chumpy number 3. And we chump right into Sunny's.
Jumping right in. Jump chapters.
Seamless chumps, one might say.
Chapters 31 to 40. It's from Brianna's perspective at first, and it's a fun little bit of chumpies
Interaction.
we have. Yeah. Briana and Jacob are stuck in this room. They're stuck overnight due to that swollen door, and she panics. She like looks at the bed. She talks about being sex starved. She's like,
Yeah, we're gonna have to sleep in this bed
we're gonna
together.
have this tiny room together and this tiny bed. I'm gonna be stuck here, and I'm gonna see a stupid little tattoo.
Well, and it's funny because she's panicking and he's like, yes, this is exactly what I was hoping
I'm so
for.
excited for this.
Yes.
She makes up excuses. She talks about being claustrophobic. She makes up being claustrophobic, and he's like, "You are? We have lunch in a
Closet.
In a closet." She's like, "It's not a locked door." And then she's like, "Also, I can't sleep without my retainer." There's a bathroom that's attached to this. So they do try some things to try and open the door. And then at one point, even the husband, Daniel's like, I'll break down the door. I'll cut it down. And Jacob's like, no, I'm pretty sure this door is original. And so they go get a humidifier. And Brianna's like, I've got to go to the bathroom. And she goes to the bathroom, takes her phone. She calls Alexis. She's like, take me off speakerphone and go to your room. And she tells him, if you leave me in here overnight, I will fuck him.
And she's like, excellent. Have a great night. And hangs up on her.
Like, good job.
Yes.
Okay, great.
She's like, great.
Click.
Just so you know,
See you at
the walls
breakfast.
are very thick. No one will hear anything.
We will not hear a thing.
I hope you enjoy yourself. She's like, you don't understand.
What a great friend. I'd be so pissed at you guys. Like, get me the F out of this room.
We're like,
How about you get in and get effed?
Yes.
And she's
she's like, I'll get you your retainer. So she does get her retainer, and Brianna's
Slides it under the door.
she's like, I didn't actually want this retainer. Now I'm gonna sit here with my retainer on.
I'm gonna have a lisp this whole time.
The rest of the thing, I don't know if you guys listened to the audiobook.
Yes.
But the man, Jacob, the guy who reads for Jacob, does do her lisp
Yes.
every time she talks.
It gets worse as she gets drunk too.
Yes, and so she's like, your arms look so sexy like that.
I feel like I missed out.
So funny.
It was good. Yes.
So, but very awkward. Also, she walks out of the bathroom like, fine, Alexis. She walks out and he's starting a fire in the room. And she's like, great. Now it's a romantic ambiance. Because he's like, I'm just trying to help from this side so that it
We can
rise out
the door.
Yes.
Yes.
She's like, awesome. This is fantastic. And so they get to this tiny little bed and they decide to sleep like back to back. They can't go to sleep. So she like rolls over. Oh, also she's wearing his shirt
Yes.
because she was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And she
he's
like
like,
looks down and he's like, you
"Here."
can wear mine.
Yeah.
And it does cover her, but it like barely covers her. So anytime she bends over, it's like,
There's some cheeks out.
and he's enjoying all of it. So they go back to talking about playing those games because they can't really sleep. She's all on edge. And so they like turn and they start talking about, how their questions are ridiculous. And she's like, yours aren't any better. And he talks about, you don't take them seriously. That one time when I asked you what was your near death experience, you answered chafing at Disneyland. She's like, if you haven't experienced it, you don't know.
It's awful.
The worst.
pain.
The worst.
So then she starts talking about like, you don't want my real questions. And he's like, I do. Hit me with them. And she's like, show me your search history in your phone. And he not only shows her, but he gives his passcode. And then he tells her something like, oh, you also have the passcode to my bank account. She's like, why do you have the same passcode for your phone as your bank account? You can't do that. And he's like, okay, give it to me. And he changes it and puts it to the same passcode as her phone. And now she's super shocked because she's like, are you sure you wanted this? My husband never gave me his phone password. He didn't trust me with it. He like gaslit me to think that I was crazy to ever even want to look. And he's like, no, I don't care. I trust you. Are you not trustworthy? Because I don't care if you have my bank account
He's
pin.
like, you can steal all my money right now if you want, but I
Exactly.
thought
Yeah.
you
Plan
were
on
cool.
doing-
yeah. She starts to realize, like, I think I'm in love with Jacob. And she goes through his phone and she realizes he is exactly who he says he is. He looked up all the places that she told him, when you get here are the places you might go. And he looked up all those places. When he said he was looking up something, she saw the history of it. He even was looking up couches because she mentioned she didn't like his 2 armchairs in the house. She talks about how when she finally did hack into Nick's, her ex-husband's phone or search history, it was all about finding 5-star hotels he could rent while she was going away on a vacation or
And he would
whatever.
never take her to a 5-star because they needed to save money and be frugal. And
Yeah.
But he was taking this other bitch.
He was buying first class tickets for them to fly somewhere while if they flew it together anywhere, it was Coach. And so she was like, he was not at all who she thought he was, but Jacob is not that. He's exactly who he says he is. And she realizes she loves him. So then we go to Jacob's perspective. He has opened a bottle of bourbon he bought for Alexis and Daniel before learning that Alexis was super pregnant. And then he felt like it was inappropriate to give to her. So they kept it. And they start playing this drinking game where Briana gets super drunk and she starts to share, which they mention, like, I think it's Xander's, like, you got to ask her what she did to her husband when they leave.
Play it up like it was this diabolical thing. And she's like, oh my God, you don't want to know what I'm
You're
capable
gonna not
of.
like me anymore because I'm a
even-
terrible human.
And even when she starts, she's like, listen, I used to work for Starbucks. And when a customer pissed me off, I would make their drink the best ever drink. And
so that they
That we
could
could never get it.
they
have
could
it
ne-
that
they'd be
way ever
chasing
again.
that high for the rest of their life, not knowing what I did to make it so
Which
good.
is actually diabolical
It is.
because
It is
now
so
they're
diabolical.
chasing a high that they'll never get for the rest of their life.
Yes, she does tell him that she did a whole lot to him when she left, but one of the biggest things she did to him was a glitter-fueled revenge. She bought 5 gallons of glitter on Amazon, dumped it in the carpet, put it into
The ceiling
on the
fans.
ceiling fans. So when they turned it on, it went everywhere, and they ended up having to change the carpet. She also talked about hiding shrimp in the
In the curtain rods.
yeah.
Yes.
So she,
And like taking the light bulb out of the refrigerator.
yes,
And like
taking
the most
microwave dish.
Yes, such inconvenient.
I mean, she destroyed the whole house pretty much, but in a like not so destructive way. And she goes through this list of things he did, and he's just trying not to laugh. She's like, "It's not funny, Jacob."
Oh, with the list.
But it is starting to kind of be clear that she's so drunk that she might not remember some of this. Mm-hmm. Okay, I shared that with you. Now you share something about you that nobody knows. Mm-hmm. And Jacob shares that he sat in the rain during their first phone call, and And then he also realizes he's in love with Briana. Briana says it out loud. But Jacob doubts its sincerity due to her drunken state. And like, oh, it must not mean the same way as I think it means.
She's
because,
drunk.
Like, she's drunk and she just means the same way my sister would say I love you. So
And the fact that he doesn't bring it up again or says anything to her about it, like
Annoying.
I'm like, are you freaking
it's
kidding
freaking
me?
annoying. But he stays there for as long as he can until he's in pain, holding her because she's laying on him. He picks her up and he brings her to bed and she murmurs something about teleporting. Yeah. So cute.
You guys are so dumb.
It was such a cute moment.
I'm too big to teleport, so.
Whatever. I still want to try. Put me in the wagon.
Get that chair
He tries
lift on
to
the
teleport
stairs.
her and she wakes up on the steps because he couldn't take her all the way.
You still teleported.
Off the side of the bed. I got you this far.
I got you as far as I could.
My back's blown out.
She wakes up, he's icing his back.
Back to Brianna's point of view. She wakes up and she's like, oh my gosh, she's hard under
It's
me.
morning.
I'm barely covered. Yeah, he's got morning wood, but she's like on top of him. So she gets up, but like all like, oh,
Flustered.
gotta get out of here, right? And then the door's unstuck, she leaves. And they go and have an awkward morning. At home, her mother, Rosa, arrives early for Benny's surgery. So she's there. When she shows up, she's like, something's not right. I smell pupusas. Comes in and Benny's like, hello.
How delicious. I would love to walk into my house and smell pupusas.
Right?
I love a papoose.
So she's like making all kinds of food. Brianna calls Jacob and Jacob tells her like, yeah, tell your mom and Benny that I'm the kidney donor. That's okay. And 2 more people is no big deal. He asks again Brianna to move in with him. Brianna later tells her mom and Benny both truths. Jacob is the donor and she's moving in with him. Benny questions if she's dating Jacob just for the kidney because he overhears the conversation of Jacob asking Brianna out in the front.
On
like
the ring camera.
The ring
Oh, yeah,
camera's
yeah.
on. And so he's like, why did he ask you out on a
Why
date?
would your boyfriend have to ask you out, and why'd you tell him no?
Yeah. And so he has his suspicions about the whole thing. And so he now thinks you're just trying to kind of be with him for this kidney. And Brianna says that she does. She loves him, which isn't a lie.
A lie,
No.
yeah.
But she admits she'd do anything for Benny as well. Back to Jacob's point of view, Brianna shows up at Jacob's house with her stuff. She's got suitcases, but she also got dinner because she's like, get ready.
Oh, yeah. I got
my mama
7
gonna be
years of
making-
pupusas.
Yeah, my mama gonna be making lots of food for you. She also shows up with an air mattress. And at first, Jacob's all excited that Brianna's there. And then he
Hell
realizes,
yeah, we're
oh,
about to snuggle all night
Yes.
long.
and then he realizes, oh, she doesn't even want to sleep in the same room as me. And she intends to sleep separately. And he's like, what's going to happen if someone knocks on the door and comes over? She's like, we'll just pull it in really quick. And he's like, that seems crazy. And then there's a knock at the door. So over time, Brianna and Jacob do build a cozy little routine and enjoy peaceful days. Now it's been a couple weeks and Jacob sends flowers to Brianna at work, sparking Xander's curiosity about how fake their relationship really is. He tells Xander, like, yeah, I asked her on a date and she told me no. So it's fake to her. I would like to make it real. A nurse comes out and tells Jacob that a patient is asking for Brianna's number. And
He's like, you need to get in there
Yeah.
and get your boo. Go get your
He's like,
woman.
he's hot. Not as hot as you, but he is hot. And he's making a move on your lady. And so he goes into the room. But before he goes in the room, we get Brianna's perspective. Brianna is reconnecting with a childhood friend. His name's Levi. And he's now recently divorced and a patient in the hospital. He's like sliced his hand open. So Brianna's going to stitch him up. But they exchange phone numbers. When they're exchanging phone numbers, Jacob enters. But it is mentioned, like, even though he's divorced, he's back in town because he's dating one of their other friends. He's not single. He's just not married anymore.
They're just old friends and we're
Yes.
reconnecting.
And he's like, come hang out. I know my girl would like it. We're all friends
She'd
from
love
the
to see
past. She'd
you.
love to
Yeah.
see you again.
Yeah.
Like, let's all go hang out. But when Jacob walks in, he just sees them exchanging phone numbers. And he's like, are you going to introduce me to your friend here? And so she's like, oh yeah, this is my friend Jacob. And he gets offended by it and walks out. And Levi's like, was that your boyfriend or something? He seems a little bit jealous. And she's like, well, he is my boyfriend, but he's not jealous. It's a long story. I'll tell you later. So Jacob is irritated. Brianna called him a friend in front of Levi. He stews over it all day, even going into the next day. They're driving and it's a dinner where Brianna's parents and brother met Jacob's family. And she tells Jacob too that when she was driving to the house to meet them for dinner, she like picked up a possum that she thought was a raccoon that she thought was dead. But when she got out, it wasn't dead and it attacked her. Anyway, so they leave that dinner, and Briana is driving her mom and Benny home, fielding questions about Jacob, and Benny wonders why Jacob never kisses her. And she's like, he does kiss me. So Rosa urges Briana to commit. Briana firmly states she'll never marry again, but her mom, Rosa, pushes back with hope. Briana mentions Levi's in town, and she might go and get drinks with him, and her mom's like, wouldn't Jacob be jealous? I would be jealous if that was you. And she's like, don't worry, Mom, he's not jealous. I promise he's not jealous. He won't care. He won't want to go out with me either because he's socially awkward and he doesn't like people. He's got anxiety, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, you should invite him just because anyways. So now we're back with Jacob. Briana and Jacob lie in bed watching TV, and she brings up his upcoming bachelor party while she's receiving texts from Levi, and she admits he invited her for drinks. So Jacob starts to inquire about her and Levi's past. She kind of downplays it, but she does mention, like, my mom always thought we'd get married. So now he's like, oh, your mom's going to be excited that Levi's back in town and that you're going to marry him. And they're like all upset about it. He gets all worked up. He starts getting his anxiety back all up and running. So then the next day they're going back to the house because they're going to Jacob's parents' house because they're going to the bachelor party. And so Briana is constantly texting all day. It's heightening Jacob's anxiety. He's upset about it. He's just spiraling with what could be happening on that phone. Upon arrival, Briana gives him the code words in this economy, and Jacob just doesn't seem like he's into it. And she can tell he's having a hard time. She chalks it up to, it's because Amy, it's their bachelor party. Jacob's like, I've spent all day watching you text Levi. Amy announces that she's pregnant, and Jacob stands up and says, in this economy? And he leaves and goes down into the basement. To which Briana, watching, he's upset because
she's
the
pregnant.
bachelor party and because she's pregnant. And then Jacob is really like, I didn't hear anything that was going on because all I could focus on was you were going to end up being with Levi. But Briana goes downstairs. She finds Jacob in mid panic attack. He's crying. He's a hot mess. He's in his parents' basement. So she tries to calm him. She sees that Lieutenant Dan is trying to like climb into his lap, and she decides that's what I'm going to do is climb into his lap. So she calms him with grounding techniques and affirmation of love. She just keeps saying over and over and over, I love you, while she's sitting on top of him. And he's like, starts to get like, okay, I understand. You love me. And this is what I needed to hear. He does start to calm down. She thinks it's calming him because she's just an emotional support blanket for him. She can feel him being aroused. And she's like, yes, I consent. And then they do, for the very first time, have sex. And in this moment, it's like, just so bad, you guys. It's upsetting because it's like the whole time she's thinking that he's in love with Amy and he's just upset because she's pregnant, but she cares about him. So she like, okay, fine, we can have sex because it's going to comfort you. And I do want it. And it helped. And then she's living inside of her head, having this whole conversation that she's only saying pieces out loud. And when he responds, she thinks, did I say that out loud? He must be responding to me. But she didn't say any of that out loud. She said, I love you, I love you, I love you. And he was like, yes, me too. And so like, it's just so messy. And so afterwards, she has an earth-shattering orgasm. And she's like, this was a mistake.
That's the worst thing you want to hear after having sex with somebody.
He's petrified, thinking he did something wrong.
Yes. And so he's like, wait, what? You just told me you love me. And now she's like, this can never happen again. We don't have a real relationship. It's all a fraud. While he is still inside of her, Jules walks in and she's like, I found them. They're always making out. You guys get a room. Disgusting. Anyways, the limo's here for you, Jacob. And then she leaves and they're like, let's get you out of me. It's just the worst first time ever when you're rooting for these people so much for most of the book. So she gets up, has a panic attack, and runs into the bathroom and locks herself in the bathroom, won't come out and talk to Jacob. Jacob is confused, obviously, and hurt by Brianna's
He doesn't
sudden
know what the
withdrawal.
fuck's going on.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought we just had a moment. I thought we
This
were
was great.
You literally
intimate.
just
It was
told me you love
beautiful.
me.
Did I hurt you?
I agreed. Like, what? So he leaves. He doesn't even care about the bachelor party anymore. He just leaves his car keys for her and walks home, feeling lost. He journals while waiting for her return.
Then we jump into the last part of the book, chapters 41 through the epilogue. At the bachelorette party, this is Briana. She stays for the bachelorette party.
She's like, it'll look bad if I leave.
Yeah, she's like, okay, I got it together. Let's get this shit out the way.
Yeah.
So she's there and she can't stop thinking about Jacob. And then a bridesmaid says something like, oh, he's such a loser. Why? You're at his mother's fucking house.
Yeah.
And you have the audacity to talk shit about her son.
There's like so much wrong with it.
And the bride is is in the room.
And he has 20 sisters who are also in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
So she defends him. She stands up and is like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
You guys are all fucking stupid. And like points at Amy and calls her out for being a shitty person. All of the sisters kind of eyeball each other like, hell yeah. And then she leaves. She leaves the house. She goes to the store. She buys cigarettes and candy. Candy for her, cigarettes for Grandpa. And she comes back and she slips in so nobody can see her. And she goes into Grandpa's room and she's like, here. And then Amy shows up and has cigarettes. And she's like, the fuck are you doing here? She's like, everybody secretly gives him cigarettes.
Which
like,
is so funny.
the mom.
And the grandpa's all like, still got it.
Yeah.
All the ladies love me.
He's like, the mom knows he's not supposed to, but she's like, if I'm not giving it to them, then that's the most I can do.
Yeah.
So Amy apologizes to her about all of the shitty things that she's been doing and confirms that Jacob really loves Briana. Briana confronts Jacob and is like, I'm moving out. She accuses him of loving Amy, and after a heated argument, they both confess their love for each other. Jacob on the wedding day, Jacob's family gathers at the hotel. Briana is pleased to see that Benny's on a date with Jacob's sister Jane, and Jacob and Briana are overly affectionate, and they annoy Jewel and her wife. When Briana at the reception, Briana and Jacob kiss in the elevator. They're kind of giggling on their way back up to their room, and then the elevator stops to open, and her ex Nick and the woman that he
Kelly.
was cheating and left her for,
Which was also her best friend.
Yes.
Or one of her friends.
one of her good friends. They are visibly married with wedding rings, and Kelly is clearly pregnant. Briana, her whole world
just
is crumbling.
implodes.
Briana is shaken and feels physically ill. So he's like, okay, let's get out of here. So on the ride home, Briana is just silent, and then she's like, I'm moving out. She opens up about having a miscarriage after Nick left her for Kelly. So she was pregnant. Nick decided to leave her. The stress and everything attached to that. She had a miscarriage afterwards, and how she discovered his infidelity. Jacob pleads with her to stay, but Briana insists she needs space. Back to Briana, she realizes that she's pregnant now with Jacob's baby and tells her mom. And she is adamant about not marrying, believing all men eventually leave, and Rosa shares her happy second marriage as proof that not all men leave. And though Briana knows Jacob is different, she feels compelled to end things before he can hurt her. Briana agrees to seek Jacob, tells him that she's pregnant, and she says she can't be in a relationship fearing abandonment. Jacob goes back and
Especially for her little child, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a baby. I don't want to be abandoned, but also I don't want this baby to go through what I've gone through.
Yeah.
And he's like heartbroken about all of this because he wants to be present. He doesn't know how else to do it.
Yeah. So he's just distraught, and he goes back to hang out at his mom's house, and he tells his mom, and she advises him to just keep showing up and suggests that she go get some therapy. Briana needs therapy. Then it jumps to Briana, and Alexis comes to support her during Jacob's and Benny's surgery. Briana was supposed to be Jacob's caregiver after surgery. And because she's like, no, thank you.
Oh, that's why he goes to his mom's house to ask her, like, can I stay here after the surgery?
Will you help me? Before the surgery, Jacob is like, I don't know how else to tell you, but here are all the journals since I've met you. All of the journal entries. So in the chapel, while the surgeries are going on, she starts to read his entries about their relationship from the very beginning. His heartfelt words and final promise to be harmless inspire Briana to be brave. After surgery, Briana is there when Jacob wakes up, and she says she wants to move back in. Jacob suggests they buy a house together in both their names, knowing that not having a stake in it, just like her house with Nick, at the end, it wasn't hers. So he promises to help her build trust, just as she helped him manage anxiety. Then the epilogue, 2 years later, Briana and Jacob are getting married at his cabin, and Briana has gone to therapy. Jacob is a stay-at-home dad for their daughter, Ava. Benny's transplant was successful, and him and Jane are dating. Briana and Jacob write simple vows to be harmless to each other.
That was
And
it.
that's
I
how
promise to be
ended.
harmless to you. Are we going to rate this?
Let's rate it.
Let's rate this biatch. We rate our books on a 3-shot system. 1 shot is I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots, it's good enough for another, but not worth the hangover. 3 shots, it got me. Yeah, it did. This book talks about some really dark things and heavy things and deep things. The anxiety, the miscarriages, the divorce, the unfaithful husband. Like, there's a lot of heavy things. I feel like when we read Emily Henry books, they're heavy things and heavy topics that get turned to be a little bit more lighthearted and palatable.
They're not the main course
Yes.
of the book meal.
Yes, and I feel like this whole book was either dealing with dark stuff or or it was frustrating. People never freaking talked about what they were actually feeling. And for a book that was all about understanding the way you were feeling and doing things to get through the things that you're feeling, you guys never spoke about the one thing that actually freaking mattered. You just kept assuming. And it wasn't for a small part of the book. It was for pretty much the entire book, was them just making up this other person's story. And so I for sure got frustrated. I think the reason why I think this is a book that I need to sit with is because I do appreciate that it was very much so more real than it was a fluffy romance.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that, but this book just felt like this is my real life and I want to deal with my real life right now, and I'm dealing
not
with
why
it
I'm
in
reading this
book. So I am for sure leaning more towards a 1, but I did like it and I want to give Abby Jimenez another chance. I don't know if all of her books are like this, but I don't know that I would recommend this book. So it's a 1.5.
So 2.
Dang. Shots fired.
It's not. I can appreciate it. It's just I like my romances to be
Romantical?
romantic. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next.
Okay.
Because no question, I gave it a 3 shots.
Really?
I was frustrated the whole book, but I did really like it because there was so much realness about it. And I think life is so frustrating that I was like, man, this is so relatable. And I'm so mad about it. But I loved it. I did feel at the end like, oh, okay, that ended better than I expected. And a little bit of resolve. Happy ending still happened after all of the shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I would hope for in real life, right? Like all this shit happens, but then you still end up happy. And I was on board for it. So I gave it 3 shots because it gave me all the emotions. Happy, sad, angry, frustrated, like just everything all wrapped up in a pretty little bow at the end. And then I was like, okay, cool, that's done.
Cool, that's done.
So 3
know
stops.
if I loved Jacob. At the end, when he continued to fight for her and show up for her, I liked him. But at the beginning, I just felt like everyone was so non-committal, and she was the one who was really showing up for him. And not that that's bad, because for sure that's real life. Sometimes you have to show up, and then the other person shows up. But I had a hard time with the male character for a little while.
I will preface this by saying I started this book at 7 o'clock at night, putting one of my kids to sleep, and I finished it at 2 in the morning. I could not put the book down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So your shots are?
I gave it 3 shots.
That's what I thought.
Well, I agree with you. It felt like these are very real life scenarios of having anxiety and having past relationship issues, and it felt very real, but it almost felt like he was on the very high end of the anxiety spectrum where like every little thing was setting him off, and she was like, she just shut down when she saw her ex, like nothing else, just saw him.
Yeah.
And that felt a little...
It was a trigger.
It felt unrealistic that they were both on the high ends of their spectrum of issues that they each had. But I did like it, and I kept reading it because I wanted to know what happened.
I definitely had to force myself to get through this book. Anyways, I didn't have the same experience as you guys.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I don't think this was a bad book. That's what I mean. I think it needs to set a little bit because I don't think that it was a bad book. It just wasn't one that I loved to read every second. Well, that's a wrap on yours truly. If you yelled at your book at any points, congrats, you're in the right place. The prompts are posted and waiting to validate your drama. So subscribe now and we'll be back to stir the pot next Wednesday.
Yeah, don't be shy. Leave us a little rating and a review. It helps the other bookish folks find us. And truth be told, we read everyone like it's a Sunday paper with tea and no judgment.
Let's keep the book talk going. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at LitOnTheRocksPod and drop by our site, literatureontherocks.com. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, may your pages be turning and your drinks be stirring. Cheers!
Toodaloo!
Bye.